you again for being with us. We're excited to get started. And so today's session will provide key updates from local leaders and organizations working on the front lines of FIFA 2026 readiness, from transportation to tourism and from infrastructure to public safety. Whether you're looking to align your business with visitor demands or seeking insights into long-term impacts, today's presenters will offer actionable information to help you move forward with confidence. This afternoon, we're honored to hear from Adam Hayu, our administrative support specialist at the Chamber, with some exciting resource launch for FIFA resource initiatives. Uh, Shawnee Nall, Government Affairs Director at Comcast, who will share our partnership in supporting our local small business ecosystem with a wonderful opportunity for you. Mark Everton, CEO of Explore Seattle Southside, and Sydney Marks Nichols, Sports Business Development Manager, will provide an update on tourism planning and the expected economic impact of FIFA, including insight into the World Club Cup. Uh, uh, sorry, the World Club Cup, um, and the Sports Commission role. Eric Corning, Project Director at the Seattle Sports Commission, will follow with a regional update on broader coordination efforts as well as Club Cup updates. Juan Higuera from Sound Transit will provide critical infrastructure and mobility updates relevant to your business corridors. Kirsten Foote, Executive Director of BEST, will introduce resources and recommendations around workplace safety and anti-trafficking preparedness during major events. And finally, Ted Alvey from Paul Davis Restoration will share how businesses can stay resilient and protect their physical spaces of large-scale events. After our speaker presentation, we'll open the floor for Q&A session to help address your most pressing concerns as time allows. Feel free to use the chat box to ask your questions during presentations. And before we begin, I want to share a quick preview. The Chamber is closely working with city partners and regional stakeholders to develop a FIFA readiness toolkit, a comprehensive user-friendly resource for our Southside businesses. This toolkit will officially launch this month and serve as your go-to guide to navigating FIFA 2026 opportunities. We are grateful to have you here today, and I look forward to continuing this journey with you as we prepare together for this exciting chapter. Now, to kick things off, please join me in welcoming our first presenter, Adam Hayu, our Administrative Support Specialist.
Thank you so much, Sammy. Just give me a second as I pull up our amazing new website. So good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for your time today. As Sammy mentioned, my name is Adam Hayu, and I'm the Administrator Support Specialist here at the Seattle Southside Chamber of Commerce. And I'm very excited today to walk you through our new Get FIFA Ready website found on the Chamber's website, seattlesouthsidechamber.com/FIFA-ready. So as many of you know, the upcoming FIFA event presents a tremendous opportunity and some challenges for our businesses and community. The Get FIFA Ready site is designed to equip you with the information, tools, and resources you need to navigate this period successfully. Whether you're a large business preparing for an influx of visitors or a smaller operation seeking to capitalize on the event, this site is built to be your one-stop hub. One of the most exciting features is right at the top, our FIFA Ready Business Showcase. This is where we highlight local businesses that are prepared to welcome FIFA fans, tourists, and locals all throughout the region with exceptional service, special offers, and memorable experiences. To be featured, businesses must be located in Burien, Des Moines, Normandy Park, SeaTac, or Tequila. And it's a great way to gain added visibility through our chamber and city tourism networks. The application form is quick to fill out, and we'll be reviewing and updating the showcase every week. So as you kind of scroll down through the website, you'll find that there is a link to the survey, which will take you to this very easy and simple form to fill out. Just provide your basic information, the business category that best aligns with what you do, and we'll review it, make sure it's all good, and add you to our showcase. The site also includes match details for Seattle, so you'll know when and where the games are happening, and this is a great way to help you plan for staffing, promotions, or traffic strategies. For a comprehensive list, we've also included FIFA's site, so you can find the full schedule there as well. If you missed any of our previous recordings, we also provided hyperlinks to our YouTube channel where you can find the recordings from the previous sessions and get more caught up to date of all the resources shared before. We've also included a practical FIFA readiness checklist to help businesses make sure they're fully prepared. It includes direct links to promote deals and events, hire and train staff, and even join the chamber for more resources and support. We're currently developing city-specific toolkits to walk businesses through everything they need to know, from permits to zoning to food safety and transportation and many more. These toolkits will be broken down by city so you get the most relevant guidance possible. To stay up to date on these toolkits to go live in the coming months and receive other key updates, please feel free to add your email to the sign-up form included in the webinar. I'll be sure to reach out to folks as soon as these are available in the coming months. Beyond preparing for business internally, you can also get featured on the site in a few different key ways. If you are hosting a FIFA-related event, you can submit it through our site and we'll include it in our local event listings. Are you hiring for FIFA 2026? You can get your job listing seen right here on the site as well, so job seekers can get connected to your job listings. If you're offering any special deals, you can also add them to our digital coupon book, giving fans and tourists an easy way to find and support your business. And thank you again to our partners in this campaign, the cities of Burien, Des Moines, Normandy Park, SeaTac, and Tukwila, Explore Seattle Southside, Sound Transit, and the Port of Seattle. So I encourage each of you to explore the site after the webinar, bookmark it, save it, screenshot it, whatever works for you, and we'll be updating it regularly as new information becomes available. And please don't hesitate to reach out with any questions or suggestions. This is a collaborative effort, and we want to ensure that we're all ready for the opportunity FIFA brings. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Adam. That was great. Next, let's hear from Shani Nall over at Comcast.
Awesome. Thank you all for having me today. Very excited to, I'm sure that most on this call have already heard about our RISE program and that application window is currently open it opened on May 1st and it closes on May 31st. I believe, I don't have the document right in front of me, but I believe that the selection will take place and the announcement would be I believe it's going to be June or it may be August. So I'll get that clarified with that team. It's the time frame of when we're making the announcement of the RISE winners is that team needs to make sure that they get that information over to us, and then I'll communicate with you, Sammy, as well. I'm going to share my screen so that you all can kind of walk through this with me. Just one moment. And if you can give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Awesome. All right, so Rise Comcast back during the COVID, when COVID hit, Comcast was really focused on like, how do we give back to the community? How do we give back to small businesses? And how do we support as we go through the COVID? But that has since turned into a national initiative for Comcast. And so Washington State was chosen as one of the states to actually get this RISE grant that we have. And so what took place is that, we said, okay, so when we look at how do we make sure that our small businesses that are facing economic troubles, what cities do we choose? And so in doing that and doing a little research, we decided that the best place was to put the RISE grant within the King County area to support those companies, those small businesses that are really trying to make sure that they are feeling supported from the community, and also making sure that there's additional services that we can offer to those RISE recipients. So I'm going to go to the next slide here, and please stop me because I'm not looking at this. I'm looking at the slide and not you all. So just let me know if you have any questions. So in this 2025 RISE for King County wide technology makeover, it's going to be creative production and media. This has been a benefit for those that have received in the past. The education for 12 months, monetary grant for $5,000, and then there's going to be some consulting that comes along with whomever the recipients are of this grant. Now, the eligibility requirements, I'm not going to read through them all. They are on a website, and I will go ahead and drop those website resources in the chat after we're done here. Okay, so so next steps is what we're asking for you all, if you haven't already. So I want to say big thank you if you have already started to promote the RISE grant to your community, to your friends, your family, just to make sure that everyone knows about this opportunity, because we're living in an economy right now that we need as much support as possible. So I will be dropping in this chat. There's an asset library. The asset library, if you want to post, it has different kind of collateral that you can use for your newsletters or any kind of information. If you're using social media, you'll be able to just grab that information, grab those backdrops, and then just post or send it in your email. Let's see what else. So I think that's about it, unless there's any questions.
Wonderful. Well, we'll save questions for later
Okay.
at the end of the program here. But if you have any questions right now, please feel free to add them to the chat. Thank you so much for your time, Shawnee. I really appreciate it.
Yes, thank you.
Next, we have the team over at Explore Seattle Southside, CEO Mark Everton, and the Sports Business Development Manager, Sydney Marks Nichols.
Before I turn it over to Sydney, I just wanted to say thank you very much to Sammy and the entire Chamber team. Thanks for launching that new webpage. That's wonderful. And the purpose of this, and I think this is our 4th or 5th meeting, is to be able to disseminate information that we're gathering from a variety of sources and bring some of the experts to the table to be able to provide further insights. Everyone needs to understand this is going to be an ongoing process, that we all have a lot more questions than we have answers at this point. So hopefully Sydney will be able to give you a few answers to your myriad of questions, but just know that we're all in the same boat. We want more information. We want to know more about what's happening, especially which teams, which countries, and so forth. And that will be coming out later on throughout the year, and then especially in December, early January, when we actually know the seedings and what teams are going to be here. So with that, Sydney, can I turn it over to you to have you give us an update on what you've learned since our last meeting?
Thank you very much. So I'm going to give kind of a general pulse check, temperature check of the Greater Seattle region's sports outlook for you all. One thing I want to be sensitive to is distinguishing between the Club World Cup, that is, I think I just counted, just about 40 days away, and then the 2026 World Cup. So I want to make sure that we are still distinguishing between those two events. The website that the Chamber has launched pertains to 2026. And the presentation that we're going to get a little bit later from Eric Corning next after me is going to talk all about the Club Cup, which is happening next month. The kickoff for that is June 15th, so we are very close. But like I said, I wanted to start just by sharing some information that we got from a wonderful event hosted by the Seattle Sports Commission last Monday. It was called the Region Ready, and very similar to what we're doing here. It's an opportunity to get together all of the partners in the region and just discuss what's happening in the sports world. And one of the things that was shared with us, that I'm going to share my screen with you all, is just a quick update on the bids that the Seattle Sports Commission is going after. And These bids are, you can see the ones in green are the ones that have recently been confirmed as taking place in Seattle in the coming years. And you'll be able to see the ones that are in progress, prospecting, and whether or not they have a venue or if they're searching for venues. So some exciting ones are the AVP Beach Volleyball that will be happening in Marymore Park. But some larger ones looking off into the future, the NHL All-Star Game, the NHL Draft, and then down there at the very bottom with the asterisks are the FIFA Women's World Cup and the Men's Rugby and Women's Rugby World Cup. So those are a ways away, but we have officially won them as a country. So we, as the USA, will be hosting those large events. We are now in the process of bidding out which cities will host them, much like the process we went through to host FIFA Men's World Cup. So those are exciting things to keep an eye out on, and they will be coming quicker than we think. So I'm going to move on to just sharing a bit of information that the Expedia group shared about global sports trends. They conducted a study, which I will share in the group chat once I'm done presenting, because I can't multitask that well. That basically it surveyed 2,000 people over a variety of different countries and asked them about the sports travel that they have taken, I think in the past year. And some facts that I just wanted to briefly highlight that I thought were interesting just to show the strength of the sports travel industry were that 62% of respondents, most recent sports trip was 2 to 6 days in length. So people are traveling and they're staying for more than just a weekend and they're experiencing the destination. Along with that, they're spending on average about $1,580 US on their trip. And they're more likely to show up in groups and prioritize experiences together. And they are more likely to stay longer than the leisure traveler. So this is a really tourism focused group of people, of travelers that we are going to have tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of them traveling through our city in 2026. So that was just some interesting news to learn and some facts. They also shared a little bit of information that they were finding about the Club World Cup. 33% of bookings, hotel bookings thus far have come from Japan. So the Japanese market is very strong for next month's games, which makes sense because there is a Japanese team coming to play in our Lumen Field. And I just wanted to share, they kind of closed with some recommendations. They said that the FIFA games are very much family and group experiences oriented. So ensuring that there are competitive rates for people that are going to come in groups and bring kids, but then also offering excursions and things to do that can include many people and get that kind of community feel involved. So that's something to think about as you're starting to see how you want to participate in hosting event or anything that can do with FIFA. Next, I will share information on World Cup 2026. So I will share my screen again really quickly. This is a roadmap that was provided by the local organizing committee, who we've had spotlighted on this webinar before. But here is a really great document that I, again, will share in the chat as soon as I am done presenting. But it breaks down by quarter for the remaining 2025, what they have planned, and then gives some insight into what they're planning for 2026 leading up to the start of the games. I think that there are a couple things I wanted to highlight. If you look under each quarter, there is a playbook that is being released. And like I said, Eric is going to mention a little bit more about this, so I don't want to steal too much of his thunder, but I wanted to give a brief overview of what each playbook will be kind of themed around. And we don't have concrete dates of when these 2026 playbooks will come out, but they are scheduled to come out in those quarters. There is a branding playbook presented by Visit Seattle that will come out in Q3, and it essentially is going to be a secondary brand for Seattle. And this is because there are very strict guidelines from FIFA on how we can utilize, but basically we can't utilize the FIFA logo, anything that has to do with the trophy. There's a lot of trademarks on that. So in order to be able to participate without infringing on that copyright, Visit Seattle's creating the secondary brand, SEA 26, and that is going to be used by anyone and everyone to show that you're a FIFA-friendly business, and the playbook will go over how to utilize that and how you can utilize it in your marketing and all the details to help in your strategic planning to get the word out about what you're doing. And then second, there's going to be a small business playbook presented by the Seattle Chamber of Commerce. And this is set to be released in Q4. We don't know when in Q4, but it has been created with the goal in mind to get businesses ready to take advantage of this influx of people and how to thrive through that influx of people, and then how to keep that momentum going after the games. So there's going to be some topics that the playbook will cover, like operations and planning support, future ready legacy materials, actionable insights, and community centered engagement opportunities. And then lastly, there is going to be the community watch party playbook presented by the Seattle Sports Commission. And Eric is going to tell us about the Club Cup watch party guidelines that have been finalized and released out into the world. And I don't know too much about the 2026. I can take a guess that they might be similar, and Eric can clarify to what he's going to talk about, but those will not be formally announced. And I think it's safe to draw no parallels at this point between the two playbooks for what the 2026 watch party playbook will be. And that will be coming out later in July of this year. So that will be the first playbook that pertains to World Cup 2026 that we can get our hands on. That was a lot of information. I will stop sharing my screen. And I will paste those links in the chat, but I would like to pass it off to Eric Corning. He's the past CEO and president of Seafair. He was with them for 25 years and is now working with the Seattle Sports Commission to help lead the efforts with the Club World Cup in June next month. And he will be telling us all about the playbook that we are going to learn about. Thank you.
Thank you, Sydney. That was a fantastic overview of that Region Ready event. Like that, you distilled a lot of information down to a very compact amount. So well done.
Thank you.
All right. So I'm Eric Corning. I'm with the Seattle Sports Commission and working on these watch party playbooks. There's going to be two of them. And this is the Seattle Sports Commission website. And I just wanted to do a little navigation just to show you what the navigation looks like, and that there's two events that Sydney referred to. One is Club World Cup. That's happening this year in June in Seattle. It'll finish out nationally in July. And then the FIFA World Cup that we've been talking about for years and years and years, that's coming up in 2026. So we've separated this in our world so that there is a Club World Cup playbook, so we can give you all the Club World Cup specific information. In July, we'll retire that playbook and we'll bring out the Club World or the World Cup 2026 edition. So you won't be able to find the 2026 edition yet. If we go to the FIFA World Cup page, and then here is the watch party playbook. So the little link here that gets to it. I'm just going to do a quick walkthrough of the playbook, and then again, put your questions in the chat, and I think we'll catch up with those here towards the end. This document is going to change over the next few weeks. We know that there's new information that we get from FIFA, and so as we get those changes, we'll be updating this document. I'll be talking about one of the changes here in just a bit that hasn't quite made it to the final version yet. So the Club World Cup overview. This tournament is made up of clubs like the Seattle Sounders and other MLS clubs, and then clubs like you would see in Europe, and the one that Sydney mentioned coming out of Japan or South America and whatnot. All of these clubs competed in tournaments to be able to come together to be a part of this first ever event for the Club World Cup. So the Seattle Sounders are part of this tournament, and they'll have 3 games here in Seattle. There will be the 32 of club teams across 12 stadiums. So I'm gonna keep moving forward here. This is the venues where they're going to actually play the games. Seattle and LA are the only 2 West Coast locations for 2025. In 2026, there'll be many more locations, including in ones in Canada and Mexico. So this is just this summer's event. And then these are the days of the actual and the games for this year. So Botafogo is an Argentinian team club that's playing the Seattle Sounders on June 15th at 7 p.m. Take note that if you're going to do a watch party, the timing of these, some of them are done for a European audience or somewhere else on the planet. So the June 17th event is against River Plate and the Red Diamonds, but it starts at noon. The Seattle Sounders event on the 19th, that's a Juneteenth game. That one starts at 3 p.m. The June 21st game starts at noon. At the Sounders game on the 23rd, their last one here in Seattle, that against Paris Saint-Germain, and again that one starts at noon. So if don't think of these all as evening events that you're going to have leading up to some evening time frame. So a little bit on this is the core piece, which probably won't change much from 2025 to 2026, about some public watch parties, bringing people together. If you're, holding various settings like a community center or your business or rooftop, the watch parties at your house or a sports bar don't require the licensing, or the sports bar does something entirely different than what we're talking about here. So if you're going to extend your business and be able to say, great, we want to go take the alley and be able to set up a projector out there, or be able to bring out some large screen TVs and be able to go extend our footprint and be able to host a watch party, this is this licensing procedure is for you. So we also want to make sure that this document is for businesses across Washington State. So we won't give specifics on exactly how to be able to work with your municipality, because it's different all over the state, but there's some fundamentals of this, of getting your license, securing a venue, and using getting creative with your titles and descriptions without using the word FIFA. So the TV licensing, it's all streaming in 2025. DAZN, it's pronounced DAZN, is an online streaming partner for sports, and they hold the global broadcasting for the FIFA Club World Cup 2025. So with you, we have some information here about some tech deliveries information, some licensing information, as well as if you just have questions for them. This is the prices for watch parties in the United States. This price here, so 501 to 2000 is $12,500. That is for all 63 games. So that's from the very first games, including the Sounders, all the way through the final. We've been speaking with the folks at DAZN to see if they can do a single game package for us. So that if you wanted to just show just the 3 Sounders games, they have come up with a price of $2,250 per game. And again, once you get more than 5 games, you're pretty close to that 12,500 number. Please look for by the end of the week, we should have this document updated about the process to be able to do that single game package. It wasn't something they were planning on, and something we requested to be able to have that option, knowing that the Sounders' popularity. So the use of trademark words and graphics, I think Sydney put this very well about that we can't use FIFA, Club Cup, World Cup, or Club World Cup. We can use soccer and tournament and similar, but in similar references. But we need to think about this like the Super Bowl. It's the big game, and so as you're looking at even your website that says it's the FIFA getting ready piece on there. I don't know if the FIFA police are, I call them FIFA police. I don't know if they're really the FIFA police, but if they're coming because their AI caught that or whatnot. I wouldn't worry about it too much at this point. But at some level, the folks at FIFA are really wanting to make sure that we understand that those are their terms, these are their logos. They have sponsors and folks who paid a lot of money to be associated with those. So we can use the team names. So we can say Sounders versus Paris Saint-Germain. And we can make references, to the tournament and whatnot. But this is part of the licensing piece that we're and how FIFA works to be able to defend their IP. So I asked my graphic designer to make me a poster about what to do and what not to do. And he was nice enough to be able to put some no signs on here about the FIFA Club World Cup soccer watch party in Spokane. And so, there's just some examples of what to what this could feel like. The next page here talks about some watch party tips. I'm not going to read all of these to you, but talking about safety and security as well as providing inclusive opportunities, locations, examples that people have put up these inflatable screens. I think my favorite example so far from a previous FIFA tournament, they took a box truck and did a rear projection screen and put the projector inside the box truck, lifted up the back of it, and then they had that was their projection screen on there. So again, there's many ways to be able to do this and bring together the key piece in all of this is we're bringing together our community to celebrate and be able to be together in our own way to this amazing event that's generational. Like the Club World Cup, or excuse me, the Women's World Cup coming towards 2029, 2030. I mean, would be an amazing thing. And we hope to learn a lot of great lessons out of the World Cup this next year, as well as Club World Cup this year. But the opportunity to be able to bring people through sport together and be able to celebrate what we're doing, like that's, to me, like that's the fundamentals of why we want to be able to talk about these watch parties and be able to give you all the tools so that you can go make some amazing events. Some quick ideas about using the theme based on the team colors or hanging banners and soccer decor. You can also use the country colors. So if you wanted to make your sports bar the one for Paris Saint-Germain and it's going to be all France when they're playing the Sounders, you can set that up. Trivia games, bingo cards of announcer banter and whatnot, music playlists, just kind of the fundamentals of being able to go make a really engaging event. We have some additional resources here around the Club World Cup. These are all the social media accounts as well as the local organizing committee that Sydney made reference to that is really working on the 2026 World Cup. The community playbooks, again, I so appreciate this chamber putting together their own, like, here's what FIFA and how we can support each other in this. The watch party playbook that we released just this last month, and again in July we'll release another, the 2026 version. The community branding playbook by Visit Seattle. We spent a lot of time saying no, please don't use any of these logos and whatnot. The community branding playbook is intended for use for companies and organizations all over the state. So it is not just intended for just the Seattle area or people within a certain zone. It's an opportunity for us to be able to have things branded that hopefully the public will pick up on, that there's some connection to the FIFA World Cup, but using these graphics rather than the ones that we're not allowed to use. The last one is this small business mega event playbook. Again, this is Seattle Chamber is putting this on or is putting this together. And again, we're expecting this at the end of the year. Last page for me today is we really want to hear about your watch party. We have the link there. We want to be able to go track these. The Sounders have asked us where the watch parties are happening and whatnot, so that they might be able to do something with that. We're happy to share our list out with the chamber and whatnot, but we really want to know about the impact of these watch parties and be able to, if we are asked the question for the 2029 Women's World Cup, what was the public doing outside of the FIFA activities, we could come up with a list of here's these watch party plans. So I will we'll circle back and make and compare lists as we get closer to the end of the 2026 sequence. Last thing is there's my email address on there, the eric@seattlesports.com. This is so please feel free to reach out to me directly. Happy to answer whatever questions that I can. If the folks at the licensing with DAZN aren't getting back to you, or as we get forward into the 2026 information, if there's other problems, let me know. We have some contacts to be able to kind of be able to go and see if we can get one of them to help us out.
Eric, thank you so much for your time today, and that was incredibly informative. We are really excited for this partnership, and I just really appreciate your group putting that together for the business community here in the South Side. And so now, switching gears, we are going to talk a little bit about transportation plans with Sound Transit. We have Juan Higuera here to share a little bit more about what they are planning.
Thank you, Sammy. Let me try to share my screen. Hopefully you can see my screen now. Let me know which version of the screen are you seeing?
We are seeing your navigator
Okay,
screen.
hold on.
Yeah.
Can you see it now?
Yes, it
Looks
looks great.
That's
All right,
perfect, Juan. Looks good.
Thank you, Sammy, for hosting us again, and happy to be here for a second time, providing you a little bit more insight into 2025. So my presentation will focus on the Club World Cup this year. At a future iteration of this, hoping to talk about World Cup. But for this conversation, we'll walk you through some of our initial plans, and you'll be hearing more details on our website, which I'll link to here in a sec. Coming up. So you've seen this through prior presentations, but here's the schedule with the dates and the teams that are playing. I will flag that for our purposes, we are tracking that the first two games at Lumen Field will also have games at T-Mobile, alternating those days. So for on the 15th, we'll have the Club World Cup game of the Sounders playing in the evening, but we'll have a Mariners game in the afternoon, and then on the 17th we'll have the Mariners games in the evening. That's important for us to make sure that we're capturing that from our demand perspective, and we're providing enough services to move folks to and from. So for those of you that have taken Sound Transit to prior major events or major sporting games at Lumen Field in particular, think of the Seahawks playoff game or a MLB All-Star or a Taylor Swift. Some of these strategies may look familiar of things that we've done in the past to make sure that we're providing customer support, that we are staffing up to meet the demand that's expected for those events. So we're looking at each of our modes to put together some specific plans for each of them, including ST Express, Link Light Rail, and Sounder in particular for Club Cup. We're increasing staffing on the security side and standby for any vertical transportation issues that may arise during the tournament so that we're able to respond to any issues. We're also deploying staff ambassadors, so you'll see those, you've typically seen those with the blue vest, providing customer support at different stations. You'll see those throughout the club tournament. We're providing some temporary wayfinding and signage, and I'll talk more about a pilot that we're doing on that front here shortly. And we will be deploying some pre-event messages on our website, as well as some rider alerts starting, I believe, next week. So you may see that come through your inboxes starting next week. So in addition to what we typically have done for games at Lumen Field, we're taking 2025 as an opportunity to explore strategies that we can further expand upon in 2026. And here are 3 pilots that we are going to do ahead of 2026 to make sure that we are incorporating these into our planning process for 2026. But in 2025, what we're looking at, so I'll walk from left to right in the screen. We are partnering with the community, the CID community, and the Pioneer Square community to activate the Union Station Plaza. So you'll see some information booths, some vendors come to the plaza as a strategy to help with crowd flow. From the transportation perspective, it's really hard when everybody tries to show up at the same time. So having activations like this helps meter folks naturally through the process of getting to the station and interacting with vendors on site. So we will test this out in 2025 and see if we can expand to other parts of the system in 2026. So look for that as an opportunity potentially this fall, depending on how 2025 goes. In addition, we will be piloting wayfinding and signage improvements. Some of the feedback that we've gotten from customers over the past few years when they're attending games at Lumen Field, that it's really hard to know where the stadium is in relation to some of the stations that serve the vicinity. And so we are piloting some wayfinding and signage improvements at the International District Chinatown Station, at the King Street Station for Sounder, at SeaTac Station, and at Westlake. And so you'll see those out there. And if you have feedback, we'll have a survey out to customers following the games to make sure that we understand how that went from the customer perspective. So you'll see some of those signs out there this year. And then the third thing that I wanted to kind of share with the group is we historically have done weekend sounder service for major events at Lumen Field. Some of you might have taken sounder for those games. Well, for the first time, we're actually testing weekday special event service for sounder. So you'll see that on some of the days and some games being played this year. We are providing special sounder service to 5 of the 6 games. The game on the 15th, because it's a late night game, we're not able to serve because of the morning commute and being ready for that. So with that, I will talk about the next steps. So we're working to finalize these plans by the end of the month to make sure we're ready for June 15th when the game starts. And then we will be evaluating some of the pilots that I just talked about and our general strategies over the summer and use that to feed into our 2026 planning. We will continue to participate in these forums to share some of our strategies and kind of learn from others and some details that we can incorporate into our planning process. And our next update to our board of directors is in early June to our Rio committee. We updated our Rio committee in April. Our next version will be in June, really focusing on very similar elements that I just shared with you with maybe a little bit more detail. So with that, that concludes my presentation. Sammy, I'll turn it over to you.
Juan, thank you so much. It's now my honor to introduce the Executive Director of BEST, Kirsten Foote, to share some of her initiatives.
Thank you. I'm really glad to have this. Hold on a minute while I get a couple slides up for you all. So I lead human trafficking prevention efforts for businesses ending slavery and trafficking. And it's a hard thing to be talking about in the middle of what's really a festive occasion as we look forward to FIFA 26 and the club games in 2025. And the reality for many of you, if you've followed news about large sporting events, is that as much good as happens, there is also some really dark things. And there's a history of human trafficking in relation to major sporting events, including the FIFA games in Qatar. The local organizing committee here in Seattle is doing a tremendous job to be proactive about that, and BEST is coordinating with our local organizing committee in the legacy officer area of that. They are in dialogue with us on a lot of things, and one of the things that we're taking lead on is thinking with business leaders, chambers of commerce here and across the region, across the fan zone cities, about how to help businesses prepare for the ways that traffickers, people who control other people for their own greed, might exploit the business property and premises and staff at businesses that are well-intentioned, just doing their job, just trying to survive and thrive right in the middle of this. What we know about human trafficking is federal law defines it as the use of force, fraud, or coercion to compel a person into labor or prostitution. So commercial sex work that's under force, fraud, or coercion is human trafficking. Any exchange of something of value with a minor is a form of human trafficking without even needing to prove force, fraud, or coercion, since minors can't consent. So that leads us to a place where society-wide, we have two different phrases we use to refer to human trafficking: labor trafficking and sex trafficking. And unfortunately, the history of mega events means that we see that there are ways that traffickers exploit big events because of all the crowds and all of the surge in commercial activity to get their own illicit crime into the business mix. And they do that across a variety of industries. So there are really interesting different kinds of studies about which kinds of people get exploited at mega events. Often they have already been exploited in other places of the country or the world, and they're brought to the location of a mega event and exploited again. But sometimes they're recruited specifically for that, that particular mega event. And there's evidence in both directions. The key thing that our organization as a nonprofit is trying to do is be the spark plug for businesses to get ready and be proactive. Because across the last 10 years, looking across US industries, victims of human trafficking, victims of forced labor in either commercial sexual exploitation or other types of labor have been found in over 25 US industries. So this is a list you can just browse through to see. There are 4 or 5 of these that are explicitly related to commercial sex, but there's a whole lot of them that are just legitimate industries doing their work, businesses doing their thing, and traffickers exploiting the property, the operations, or the personnel of a business to run their illegal activity of human trafficking. So BEST exists to help equip businesses to prevent human trafficking on their own premises and with their own people, and to know how to train their staff to intervene quickly and effectively and safely for the employees, for the customers, as well as for potential victims, to stop trafficking as it might be happening on the premises of a business. BEST helps business leaders strategize, educate, and raise awareness. And we do this through a variety of different types of resources and services that we offer. You can see from the slide here, strategize, educate, raise awareness covers a lot of different things. But in a nutshell, we work with business leaders to help them prepare to be proactive against the risk of human trafficking. We do this 24/7, 365 days a year, with or without mega events. But as we prepare for a mega event like FIFA 2026, we know that there's going to be a lot of traffickers, a lot of people looking to make an illegal profit off of forced labor in any one of the businesses that are represented in our community. Public-facing businesses with publicly accessible premises are more vulnerable. That's how traffickers get access, because they can just blend in as part of the public. That's why if anybody is a leader of a public-facing business whose staff observe the public, custodial staff, sales staff, customer service staff, they may be in a position where they can observe what traffickers are doing or observe victims demonstrating signs of being under force, fraud, or coercion. And if they're equipped, they can intervene in a way that is constructive. BEST offers several kinds of trafficking prevention courses with similar material, but customized for different industries. Our BEST Basics course is not more basic than the others, but it is aimed for any public-facing business, retail, banks, grocery stores that has people on its premises. And so that's the one that's most relevant to most of the people that are part of a chamber of commerce. We work with Sound Transit, we work with Washington State Ferries, we work with the Department of Transportation. Port of Seattle with these other industry specific trainings. But best basics is what's really key for anyone in retail, anyone with public facing premises. Just putting up a quote here that Eric Driver, Chief of Police of Tukwila, recently shared, because he is so concerned about businesses thinking that they could get by without addressing this. He is very adamant that businesses need to be proactive to train staff and to know how to address it for the sake of their business thriving and everyone's safety. And we're very grateful that he's given a strong endorsement of the quality of the training that Best provides. The Southside Seattle Chamber of Commerce, Seattle Southside, has been very gracious in offering a possibility for members of the chamber to learn more about both the risks that businesses face and the ways that business leaders can get in place, get a strategy in place, and think how they're going to, which staff they're going to train, how they're going to train that through a webinar that's going to happen on May 19th. So you've got info here, and I know the chamber is going to be sharing out info of how to log in and how to be part of that. So I will pause here. So there's time for questions if we have any at the end, but hope to see all of you and lots of your other colleagues and other members of the chamber at this event on May 19th.
Thank you so much, Kirsten. I really appreciate your time sharing your resources. And yes, the link, the registration link is live on our website now. So if you go to seattlesouthsidechamber.com and go to our calendar, you can register for this very important webinar happening on May 19th. Thank you again. Next, we have Ted from Paul Davis Restoration, who is the Director of Sales and Marketing there, to share a crucial and important resource for businesses who are planning to host these large-scale watch parties. And so, Ted, take it away.
Yes. Hey, how you doing? I'm just going to go ahead and start to set up to share my screen as well. So give me 1 second here. Okay. Okay, perfect. Come on. There we go. Okay. So with Paul Davis, of course, with any kind of gathering of groups or any kind of event coming up, if anybody hasn't used a restoration company or anybody that can handle any kind of large or small claims loss that go along with any kind of residential or commercial property building, that's what we do in a nutshell. We do have a list of core services that we usually see, and that absolutely umbrella into different types of areas where we also do a lot of work for. Water damage, I'm sure, is going to be the number one, still to this date, of course, as far as incurring loss. It could be anything from if you have a bunch of people over and somebody decides that the seals in the dishwasher aren't really sealed quite well enough. It could spew water on and then, kind of damage the whole area. You have people that kind of put things in drains, toilets, things like that, which we usually see as well. If you're in an apartment building, it can not only ruin your property, but it can ruin the one down below it, which then we have to act accordingly. With Paul Davis, we are a territory in Tukwila, but the greatest thing about how we deliver our message and how we focus on work is that we have a lot of different territories within the area, which we also tandemly work with to get to your situation within a time frame of within an hour or two. With all of our emergency services listed here, we are on board 24 hours, 7 days a week. And we also have first priority agreements coming up to the event, which I will talk about a little bit later. But these are going to be the major ones that we usually see that you can count on us to actually to go ahead and to mitigate for you. We also handle reconstruction on those areas as well. If you want us to go ahead and to handle the situation as far as getting you to a point where there's no more concern for any water damage or fire damage or mold, we can actually do a reconstruction of the property and do a remodel of it or bring it back to its original look. With catastrophes, we do see some here in the Washington area. We see the windstorms and things like that. We are available for those kinds of catastrophes that do happen. We don't see a lot of it. We do have additional services like board up. Trauma cleanup, unfortunately, is one that we do have to do sometimes, unfortunately, but we do handle those certain situations. And we can also do risk analysis of the building. If you have a bunch of people coming over and you want to make sure that everything is okay, if there's not seeing any moisture readings for mold, just to make sure that everybody's safe, we handle those things, as well as staff training for your staff to make sure that everybody is on board about, how we're going to come in and handle mitigation or reconstruction. Okay. This is just an overview. When you talk about how many of the events are going on worldwide or nationwide, we also have a nationwide network of over 325 offices. We have a lot of success for over 55 years with Paul Davis and handling all kinds of large losses or small losses. So what's great about our company is that you get a small town kind of feel and communication, which is number one for everybody. Usually when I talk to new clients is that communication is key, or we can handle any kind of large loss. For instance, like they had here in Florida when they had the hurricanes, every one of those businesses gathered together and helped out everybody. There wasn't one territory saying they were just going to help out one particular area. So we have a nationwide network that helps with those kinds of areas. We have a new disinfectant. With a lot of people comes with a lot of different viruses and bacteria, of course. To hit that forefront, we are introducing letroside chlorine dioxide. What makes it great is it works through oxidation. The microbes cannot develop resistant strains against it. It also has no residue and is fast and effective. For any kind of commercial building, we usually can apply this within a 4 to 6 hour period. We'll do it on weekends, after hours, or during work hours, does not matter. It will successfully kill 99.99% of all harmful bacteria and viruses, and is also EPA and FDA approved. It'll work against COVID-19, bird flu, no influenza, anything out there, it'll kill it automatically. And then you won't have any residue. And you can use it on anything as far as food, office spaces, kitchen spaces. We've used it in senior living facilities and also cafeterias for schools. As far as us being who we are and how we have checks and balances, Paul Davis is one of those that we have a compliance and oversight. We are all profiled with Profile Gorilla, which means we have to have comprehensive background checks for everybody, certifications with the IICRC for mold and lead abatement testing. All of our contractors have to be licensed and bonded and insured for at least licensed by and insured, but it'll also be in business for at least 2 years. This just basically has checks and balances, knowing that you're getting the best service and knowing that you could trust us as far as handling any kind of loss that you do have. And with the first priority agreement I was talking about earlier, what's great about having that now as opposed to later, whenever you do have an influx of people coming in, let's say there was a bunch of different floods or things going on in different people's homes or commercial properties, we would put your priority first. It's nothing as far as a money down or anything like that. It's just an agreement saying that Paul Davis would handle that. What we do is we actually do a lot of documentation. We'll give you an update of what to expect for mitigation or reconstruction if that so happens. We'll have some training with you and your staff about how we handle a certain situation for any kind of loss or any kind of construction coming up. And what's great about it is that you get moved up to the front of the line. If there are about 50 different claims that are coming in, we will take the 4 or 5 people who have first priority agreements and get to them first. So it just kind of gives you a leg up on the, on what's going on, and then you make sure that you are singled out and actually that you know you're going to be taken care of first. So in a nutshell, that's just restoration of what we do over here. I like to go into it a little bit more in detail. There are a lot of different facets with it, of course, and things we do. This is my email here. I do have my cell phone, which I unfortunately have all the time with me, but I also have our business line, which we already have a campaign manager set up through the Southside Chamber, and that just basically plugs you in right there, and we know exactly who we're kind of focusing on. Okay. Any questions on any of that?
Ted, thank you so much.
No problem.
Appreciate your time today. And I just wanted to take a moment before we wrap up today's session to just thank all of our speakers and partners who made this event possible. A huge and special, thank you to Explore Seattle Southside, the Seattle Sports Commission, Sound Transit, Comcast, BEST, Paul Davis, Restoration for your leadership and commitment to preparing our region for FIFA 2026 and the Club Cup. Your insights and collaboration are instrumental in helping our business community stay informed, resilient, and ready to thrive. We are at time, so unfortunately, we do not have time for a live Q&A, but if you have any questions for our panelists, we will be sharing in a follow-up the link to this webinar today, as well as the contact information for all of our panelists today, so you can connect with them after. If you have any questions for the Chamber, please feel free to reach out to us at staff@seattlesouthsidechamber.com. And finally, thank you again for being with us and for your commitment to staying informed on the issues that truly matter in our region. We hope today's session provided you with valuable insights, practical tools, and greater clarity on how you and your business can prepare for the opportunities ahead. Remember, you're not in this alone. Our chamber and partners are here to support you every step of the way. If you have any follow-up questions or need any additional assistance, again, please don't hesitate to reach out to our team directly. And if you haven't already, we encourage you to subscribe to our newsletters on our FIFA Ready page for ongoing updates and events, policy changes, toolkits, playbooks, and business resources. Thank you again for your time, your leadership, and your partnership. We look forward to staying connected and seeing you at our next session. Take care and enjoy the rest of your day.